What is up, everyone? Today we are going to be highlighting one of, if not the biggest threat in Pokemon Champions at the moment, and that is Mega Floette. This core of Aerodactyl, Garchomp, Floette, Sneasler is a very consistent, menacing, powerful core that I honestly haven't dropped a single game with. I catapulted right out of Beginner 4 up until Ultra without losing a single match, and you're going to see why this team just does so well. But we're going to get right to the team preview. I really don't like long intros, and I'm sure you don't either, so we're just going to get right on down to it. So looking at this team, Aerodactyl Garchomp is a fantastic lead. You can just go infinite and spam Earthquakes with Aerodactyl sitting next to you. Aerodactyl is the fastest Tailwind setter in the meta currently, with a base 130 speed. And now with the limited item pool, with Whimsicott not having Covert Cloak, you can also lead Incineroar Aerodactyl, fake out the Whimsicott, which feels so illegal but also so great at the same time, and set up your Tailwind, and then just dual Wing Beat the Whimsicott next turn. So thankfully you have a lot of options on what to lead with. I did put Yachi Berry on Garchomp just because my current thinking with VGC, even though it's so limited, I'm used to singles more, is just seeing a lot of Icy Wind, which I didn't see much of, so I would recommend Soft Sand, but you can mix and match. You know, you don't have to take this team verbatim. You can do whatever feels most comfortable for you. I was kind of expecting to run into more like a Alolan Ninetales, which I didn't see much of yet. But, you know, I would definitely recommend the Soft Sand. Then there's Sinistcha, which obviously is a great support Pokemon, having the Hospitality to heal you upon switch, the Life Dew, Rage Powder for redirection. I really like having Trick Room because even though I cannot show you every single game that I've played because I'm not verified on YouTube yet, I cannot upload a 2-hour-long video, I have been able to reverse some very tricky Trick Rooms and regain the speed control back in my favor. So having Trick Room on Sinistcha has been very good for me. Incineroar obviously is Incineroar. Having Fake Out and Parting Shot does exactly what it needs to do. This is a very bulky set. Without knockoff, I just put on a different stab move. I think that Darkest Lariat, or I think I'm saying that correctly, does the job. Flare Blitz, of course, is another staple move. Sneasler is a top tier Pokemon to use at the moment. I think it's top 10 usage. Makes total sense because of its ability to fake out. It has really good stab, the ability to inflict status with Dire Claw, and then you can neutralize and intimidate with from an Incineroar, a Gyarados, a Paldean Tauros with the White Herb. You can also nullify your stat drops with Close Combat with White Herb too. So Sneasler is in a very good spot. It counters Tyranitar teams. It's good against opposing Incineroars, King Gambit. So Sneasler is a must-have on this team in my opinion. And then there's the Mega Floette, which having access to Fairy Aura, which boosts the power of all Fairy type moves on the field by 33%. Having Light of Ruin, a move that absolutely destroys your enemy. You can't go wrong there. Dazzling Gleam for spread, and I chose personally to do Giga Drain over Moonblast. I like having coverage. I've run into my fair share of Primarinas, I've run into my fair share of Garganacles, I've run into my fair share of different types of water Pokemon in general, and being able to heal back the recoil that I'm taking from Light of Ruin is really good to have because Floette has some decent buff, especially 148 special defense. That's very good bulk. Its physical defense is kind of, you know, it's all right, but you want to be able to stay healthy. You want to have your HP as high as possible. So I just thought Giga Drain would be the best way to keep myself on the field as long as possible. So let's get right to it. Our first battle is going to interestingly be against a Sun team here that I chose to showcase. You're obviously going to see a lot of Charizards in the meta right now. It is another very competitively menacing team. So obviously I'm going to go Aerodactyl off the rip, having that coverage with Rock Slide, and to also give myself the Tailwind. I thought about leading Garchomp, but I also thought I could lead Incineroar, maybe get some parting shots off of the Charizard if I wanted to, and then I lock in Garchomp and Floette. I think that's probably the safest and most effective thing to do. His whole team also has the capability to Mega, which I thought that was pretty funny. But he leads Charizard and Venusaur. I lead Aerodactyl and Incineroar, like I said. And I'm thinking, you know, Rock Slide seems like the move to go, but I'm just going to go for Tailwind because if he sets up the Sun, Venusaur instantly is just faster, and I can now fake out the Venusaur in case he does set up the sun and tries to go for a Sleep Powder. This way Venusaur does nothing this turn, and best case scenario, Charizard protects, so he has nothing going on this turn, and I get set my Tailwind. But Charizard doesn't protect, I get up my Tailwind, and the Charizard is going to Aerial Ace, which was interesting. Not gonna lie, did not see that coming, but again, this is probably a Great Ball match, so just keep that in mind. I mean, the team looked competitive, but now I'm just gonna go for Rock Slide for free. I'm fast, and I'm just gonna click Flare Blitz to the Venusaur slot. He withdraws Charizard, which is the right thing to do, sends out his Gengar, but does not protect Venusaur or switch out the Venusaur. So I just get my Rock Slide for free, and I'm now faster, so I Flare Blitz into the Venusaur, and we're looking good. That is one dead frog. So we're already up. We have the advantage. I'm not worried at all. He brings in Charizard now, and this is just a free Rock Slide. And I could just click Darkest Lariat on my Incineroar into the Gengar. We are looking really, really good. Obviously, Aerodactyl just needs to connect the Rock Slide. He Megas here, and again, it's still not a worry. Charizard does not become fast through when it Megas. Aerodactyl is going to fire off that Rock Slide, and it is going to hit both the Gengar and the Charizard. That's one dead Charizard out of the way. We are looking very, very good. The Gengar is most likely going to outspeed me, but he does go for the Destiny Bond, and unfortunately, my Incineroar is going to go down with the kill here, which is fine. I did my job. I got to fake out the Venusaur, so it couldn't set up any antics. You know, I'm quite pleased with my performance so far, and I think what is called for now is to bring in Floette, because Floette is kind of lonely. It's been sitting back there, hasn't done anything. It wants some action. So let's bring her in. Let's get her Mega'd. And his last Pokemon is Gallade, so we already are in a fantastic spot. I could just click Dual Wing Beat and then Light of Ruin. So the time has come to give myself a bigger Flower Umbrella. And unfortunately, Aerodactyl just has a higher base speed, so I'm going to hit the Dual Wing Beat, and it's going to 2-hit KO the Gallade. So Mega Floette just sits there, looks pretty, doesn't get a chance to do anything this battle, which is fine. I'll take the win. But it does turn out that this was an Ultra 4 battle, so I had already catapulted myself all the way from Great to Ultra with this team. I'm kind of going out of order. I'm just uploading the battles that I thought were interesting, or, you know, showcasing what this team can do against certain cores like Sun, Rain, etc. So we're just going to jump into the next battle here. And interestingly enough, we go up against a Rain team, and this is literally the next battle after the last battle I had fought in chronological order. So I'm looking at this team, and finding the right lead is tricky here because he has the classic Politoed, Primarina, Archaludon core. Mega Meganium is tricky because I can't really do much to it with Garchomp and Aerodactyl. Even in the rain, Mega Meganium can hit off Stab, Weather Balls, and then there's Farigiraf that can block Fake Out from Incineroar, Sneasler. So I think I'm going to take Incineroar, Sneasler just to scout out the leads here, and then Floette, of course, for power, and Sinistra because Farigiraf has the ability to Trick Room, right? I'm not threatened by speed tiers. He does not have a Pelipper to set up Tailwind, so I don't think I need Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl actually was horrible into that comp, so I leave him behind. I leave behind Garchomp just in case, which was the right thing to do. So they lead off with their Farigiraf and Primarina, and I can't Fake Out, so I think the best thing to do is just go for what makes sense. I want to scout. I want to just Dire Claw into the Primarina because I know that can be an issue, and then try and get as much damage into the Farigiraf as possible. Primarina does protect, and I'm just going to Darkest Lariat into Farigiraf. It does a ton of damage, but unfortunately here I can kind of see what's coming. It is Trick Room, so they are now faster than me. Thankfully Incineroar is not fast at all, so I'm not worried. I know I can try and get as much utility out of Incineroar here without worrying about losing him this turn. So I'm going to Parting Shot into the Primarina and protect Sneasler just to scout out what happens. And Yeah, interestingly enough, Farigiraf is a Rain Dancer, which now I'm scared because I know that Primarina can just Hyper Voice, and now that counts as a water move now with Primarina's ability. So this really sucks. I was not anticipating that whatsoever. Already immensely in a worse position than I was last game. I was soaring last game. So now I have to go into Sinistcha, and the only thing that really makes sense here is to counter the Trick Room by clicking Trick Room, and I'm at a little crossroads here. You know, Hyper Voice will one-shot me, so I just have to cross my fingers that I get the double protect, and I do, which is incredible. So Farigiraf is going to Twin Beam into Sneasler. I protect. Hyper Voice, I protect, and it's not going to do anything to Sinistcha, so now I have recontrolled the speed tier in my favor. This is why I like to have Trick Room on this team as well, because it forces Farigiraf to now have to Trick Room next turn. Hopefully, you know, if that's the thought process here. I'm going to Matcha Gotcha. Rage Powder unfortunately will not stop a Hyper Voice from KOing my Sneasler. And what makes sense to me in this scenario is probably to take out the biggest threat, and that is Primarina. However, Primarina looks like, ideally, Primarina probably protects, so I just want to get Farigiraf off the field so it can't Trick Room. I just feel like if I were in my opponent's shoes, I would probably protect on the Primarina, but I'm wrong. I'm dead wrong. Farigiraf protects, which is so odd to me. Dire Claw does not go off. And I don't know if that was just like some different thinking or if they actually hard read me. I don't know. But either way, they played that out very well, and now I lose my Sneasler. So now we're in a tough position. The crit did not matter, but he also crits my Sinistcha, so looking very bad for me. Things are not looking up. I actually really thought to myself, this is where the win streak ends. This is where it all goes to crap now. But we're still going to see what happens with Floette in the back. I'm still faster. The Farigiraf didn't Trick Room. I still get to move first. I just have to play this turn correctly. And the only thing to do here is to just go for my double spread moves, the Matcha Gotcha and Dazzling Gleam. I really don't want to play the Protect Mind games anymore between Primarina, between Farigiraf. So if I can just fire off as much damage as possible, especially with the Fairy Aura boost, I probably can get my way this turn and KO something, if not both of them. So I do Mega Evolve here. Primarina does protect, and I'm assuming Farigiraf is not going to, so Dazzling Gleam is going to thankfully take out the Farigiraf. I don't have to worry about Trick Room now, so I still remain faster, which is really good for me. But I'm not out of the woods yet. I don't know what they have in the back, so I just have to play it safe, and that's what I'm doing. Thankfully, Mega Floette hits like a truck, so Garganicle does come out. Garganicle, however you pronounce it, you know, whatever tickles you. So I'm just going to go for the Matcha Gotcha. I think that makes the most sense. And this is why I like having Giga Drain. My thought process was, I get Giga Drain here, see how much it does, stay as healthy as possible, and just in case Garg had like Heavy Slam or something, I didn't want to take recoil damage. It does a ton of damage to Primarina, and thankfully I'm faster on the Sinistcha with over the Primarina, so I do get to KO the Primarina before it hits me with anything crazy. And Garg is actually going to Salt Cure here against Floette, which I can deal with. Thankfully, it's not Heavy Slam. Usually, Gargs in doubles will not carry Heavy Slam, but you never know. You know, this is Champions. There's a lot of beginner players playing the game. You see a lot of crazy things, you know, in the lower tiers. So I just wanted to try and stay mindful about, you know, having my Mega on the field as long as possible, because now finally I get to see what their final Pokemon is, and it's Politoed. So now we're about evenly matched. They have 2 Pokemon, I have 2 Pokemon. It's looking very good for me. What I can do now is probably continue to support Floette. I want to Life Dew. I don't think I'm one-shotting any of these Pokemon with a Giga Drain. But I can, you know, heal up as much as possible. Sinistcha probably isn't going to outspeed Politoed. So if I take any damage from the Politoed, I can just heal it back with a Life Dew. So I go to full with Giga Drain, thankfully, but it turns out that Sinistra is faster than Politoed. They're probably all built around Trick Room, but I also really don't know the base speed of Politoed versus Sinistra. But it doesn't matter. They Ice Beam into my Sinistra. It's a crit again. They're just critting me for whatever reason, like crazy. But that's fine. That's fine. Floette still lives to see another day. At this point in the game, I'm pretty confident that I do have control. Floette has immaculate special defense. Politoed really isn't going to hit it that hard. It's just really the stall with the guard that is probably going to be annoying. So I'm just going to fire off Light of Ruin into Politoed because I really don't want to lose my Sinistra. I really, really want to keep it on the field for redirection purposes. But Politoed does protect, which makes sense. I'm not really surprised by that. So I don't hit that off. However, I do get to Machagacha into the guard, get some damage there, heal back the damage I took from the Ice Beam, and I do a pretty good amount of damage, 45%. It's not so bad. Kind of happy to see that. Guard does Earthquake. It's not going to do really anything. Of course, Sinistra bodies that. Floette takes some decent damage. You know, it's nothing crazy. I am going to continue to get chipped by Salt Cure, but I'm still okay. You know, I'm over half. I have the ability to heal with Life Dew. I have the ability to heal with Giga Drain. It doesn't matter. They forfeit. So I think they just realized they weren't going to get anywhere with that. I just have way too much power on my side. Light of Ruin would have cooked Politoed next turn. I would have Machagacha'd the guard. Regardless, I hit Ultra Ball 3 from that, so good games to my opponents there. I'm going to show a completely different game. I don't know where in the timeline that was, but insert next game here. And it looks like we're up against another Sun team with Charizard Y, so it really only makes sense to kind of do what I did the last time, and that is lead with Aerodactyl and Incineroar. This way, you know, if it is a Venusaur Charizard lead, I can fake out and then pivot right out as well with Parting Shot, and then have Floette in the back and use Garchomp too, because Garchomp has some really good uses here for Rock Slide as well, if Aerodactyl goes down, and Stomping Tantrum and Earthquake for the Sneasler and the Incin. So that's what we're going with. He is going to lead with Charizard and Venusaur as expected, and I go with the Aerodactyl and the Incineroar. So this is going to be the exact same scenario as it was in the first battle that I showcased, where I'm just going to Tailwind here. Oh, do I click Rock Slide? Huh. No, I don't. Yeah, there we go. I Tailwind here, and then I'm going to fake out into the Venusaur. Sorry, I'm like reliving these battles, and I kind of don't remember. Instead of going for Aerial Ace, like the other Charizard, this one's just going to go for the Mega off the rip to give the Venusaur the speed boost. And he's actually going to attack me. I do fake out the Venusaur successfully, thankfully, and I get my Tailwind up, and now the Charizard is going to go for Air Slash into Incineroar, which he gets a crit, and I realized I don't think I've really gotten crits this entire time. It does a ton of damage. I'm kind of forced to really only click Rock Slide here, and Parting Shot the Charizard, most likely. I am expecting a Sleep Powder to come off from the Venusaur. My opponent is smart, he protects here. I kind of had a feeling that was coming, so at this point in time, I really just hope that my Rock Slide can cause a flinch. Venusaur doesn't though, it's only 20%, and gets off the Sleep Powder onto the Aerodactyl, so that really does kind of suck because that was my only shot of one-hit KOing this Charizard. And my Parting Shot does not go through because of the Protect. So now, I'm feeling a lot of things. Thankfully, Sleep was nerfed in Champions, so you are guaranteed to wake up on the third turn. So I feel like Venusaur is in a position to now attack instead of just trying to Sleep Powder the entire field, which he does. He goes for the Sludge Bomb and the Aerodactyl. It does some respectable damage, considering it's not like super effective. It's not very effective. And I got my Parting Shut off on Zard here, thankfully, because I need to nerf this thing, especially under the sun if it's just going to start clicking Heat Waves or whatever. Now I bring in Garchomp. It's kind of the only thing I have to bring in. I don't want to bring in a Floette here. It's a really volatile situation. So I'm going to just keep clicking Rock Slide, hope that I wake up. And Garchomp's only option is to really take out the Venusaur here. It is kind of the most volatile thing and threatening force to be reckoned with. It's super fast under the sun. It has access to Sleep Powder. I don't want it to keep putting my Pokemon to sleep. Charizard sitting at -1 special attack, so I'm not as threatened by it, but Venusaur is going to protect, and so is Charizard, because, they're trying to run out my Tailwind here, and, very smart plays, very, very smart plays for my opponent. And this turn, my Tailwind does go out. So now Venusaur is much faster than me, and I just have to wake up this turn and hit my Rock Slide. Hopefully that I connect with everything on the field, and hope that Venusaur does not go for a Sleep Powder on Garchomp, because that would be unfortunate. However, my opponent is actually a really formidable opponent. He's smart. He knows that Aerodactyl's going to wake up this turn, switches into the Sneasler. I thankfully do dodge the Sleep Powder on my Garchomp, get the Rock Slide off on both of them. It does not do enough to take out the Venu, and my Dragon Claw goes off into Venusaur, killing the Venusaur, which is huge. Honestly, the Venusaur was the biggest threat. Sun goes out now, doesn't really matter because Charizard can just come back in, and now he's going to bring out Dragonite. Dragonite can kind of go a lot of different ways in Champions. It could be physical, it could be special, so I really don't know. Either way, I just feel like I have to deal with Sneasler now, because Sneasler is also a very, very tricky mon to deal with. So I'm going to go for the Dual Wing Beat into the Sneasler slot and Dragon Claw into Dragonite. Garchomp kind of is like, can't offer me much for the rest of the battle. Sneasler does fake out me, and Dragonite is actually going to go for the Ice Beam. I have Yachi Berry. I'm not very hopeful that I'm going to live, though, because I'm virtually at half, and unfortunately the Yachi Berry does not come in clutch for me, and Garchomp goes down. So this is a special Dragonite that I'm dealing with here. Now, really the best thing for me to do is to go into Incineroar, of course, get the Intimidate off on the Sneasler, while also going for the Fake Out on the Dragonite to break Multi-Scale. Now, Aerodactyl is the fastest Pokemon on the field right now, so I'm just going to go for Dual Wing Beat into the Sneasler, and like I said, Fake Out into the Dragonite. Fake Out does next to nothing because of Multi-Scale, and Dual Wing Beat is going to take out the Sneasler, which does not have Focus Sash, does not have White Herb, it actually has Citrus Berry, which was a choice. I just don't think Sneasler is bulky enough to really benefit from Citrus Berry, but hey, I'm not complaining. At least the Intimidate was good enough to not activate the White Herb and keep it at -1. So now it's Dragonite and Charizard Y on the field for my opponent. And now I can just get to click Rock Slide for free. Like I said, I'm still the fastest one here, and I don't think that I'll KO the Dragonite, so my thinking is I could just Parting Shot Dragonite and pivot into Floette. Rock Slide does go off, Charizard's going to protect, and Dragonite takes a good chunk of damage. Like I said, and like I predicted, it does live the hit. But I also get the flinch, which thankfully, I mean, I was kind of owed some luck here because I've just been getting crit left, right, and center. The Parting Shot goes off, and now I'm going to bring in Floette, which quite honestly I don't think matters. If Aerodactyl does happen to land Rock Slide on the enemy side on both Pokemon, I win the game. If I miss both of them, it's going to be a little bit more drawn out, but either way, I'm just going to fire off a Light of Ruin into the Charizard and see how much I do. If I even get a chance to attack, like I said, all Aerodactyl does, or has to do, is land and connect the Rock Slide to win this battle. So we'll see what happens. My Mega goes off. Aerodactyl is going to hit the Rock Slide into both slots, and that's the game. I'm telling you, Aerodactyl is the sauce. I think Aerodactyl is so good this meta. Like I said, it is the fastest Tailwind setter next to Prankster Whimsicott. If you are not faking it out, thankfully due to no Covert Cloak, definitely try it out. I hope you guys really enjoy these battles. I hope that you are experimenting a lot with this Champions game. I'm having a blast, and I will see you all in the next one. I'm going to be experimenting with a lot more Pokemon, and I hope to really get into uploading more content. So if you happen to enjoy this, like the video, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.